Arsenal FC. Arsenal Football Club, based in North London, competes in the Premier League and is one of England's most successful clubs. They have won 13 league titles, including one unbeaten season, a record 14 FA Cups, and various other domestic and European honours. Founded in 1886 by munitions workers as Dial Square, the club relocated to Highbury in 1913, creating a fierce rivalry with Tottenham Hotspur, known as the North London Derby. Arsenal has a storied history, with Herbert Chapman pioneering tactics like the WM formation and introducing innovations such as floodlights. Arsene Wenger, the club's longest-serving and most successful manager, won 7 FA Cups and led the team to a record 49-match unbeaten streak in 2003 to 2004. Earning the nickname the Invincibles, the club moved to the Emirates Stadium in 2006 and remains one of the most valuable and widely followed football clubs globally, with annual revenues exceeding £367.1 million in the 2021-22 season. Arsenal's motto, Victoria Concordia Crescit, victory through harmony, reflects their proud tradition and success. History: 1886 to 1912. Dial Square to Royal Arsenal. Arsenal was formed in October 1886 when Scotsman David Danskin and 15 fellow munitions workers from Woolwich created Dial Square Football Club. Named after a workshop in the Royal Arsenal complex, each member contributed sixpence, with Danskin adding 3 shillings to fund the club. Dial Square's first match was a 6-0 win against Eastern Wanderers on December 11, 1886. By January 1887, the club was renamed Royal Arsenal, playing on Plumstead Common and later at Manor Ground. Their early success came with winning the Kent Senior Cup and London Charity Cup in 1889-90 and the London Senior Cup in 1890-91. In 1891, Royal Arsenal became the first London club to turn professional and was renamed Woolwich Arsenal upon becoming a limited company in 1893. The club joined the Football League as the first Southern member, but financial struggles forced them close to bankruptcy by 1910. 1912 to 1925, Bank of England Club. In 1913, Woolwich Arsenal relocated to Highbury after relegation to the second division, marking a turning point in their history. By 1919, the club was controversially promoted to the first division, replacing rivals Tottenham Hotspur despite finishing 5th in the second division in 1914-15. Arsenal then dropped "they" from its name, becoming simply Arsenal. The club's new home attracted larger crowds, allowing them to grow their budget significantly. The increased spending earned them the moniker Bank of England Club. 1925 to 1934, Herbert Chapman's legendary Gooners. In 1925, Arsenal appointed Herbert Chapman, a transformative figure in English football. Chapman revolutionized Arsenal with innovations such as the WM formation, alongside recruiting top players like Cliff Baston and Alex James. Under his guidance, Arsenal won their first FA Cup in 1930, followed by league championships in 1930-31 and 1932-33. Chapman also introduced white sleeves to the Arsenal kit and oversaw infrastructure improvements at Highbury, including the Art Deco stands. His sudden death in 1934 left his legacy to be carried on by his successors. 1934 to 1947, Shaw, Allison, and the Second World War. Following Chapman's passing, Joe Shaw and George Allison took charge, securing further league titles in 1933-34, 1934-35, and 1937-38, along with the 1936 FA Cup. However, the outbreak of World War II halted competitive football for 7 years, and Arsenal suffered greatly, losing more players to the war than any other top-flight club. Financial strain from redeveloping the North Bank stand also impacted the club's stability. 1947 to 1962, Tom Whittaker's Arsenal. In the post-war years, Tom Whittaker, a former colleague of Chapman, led Arsenal to a league title in 1947-48. Under his leadership, Arsenal won another FA Cup in 1950 and set a record with a 7th league championship in 1952-53, making them the most successful English team at the time. Whittaker's skillful management helped restore Arsenal's reputation despite the difficult circumstances of the era. 1962-1984, Billy Wright, Bertie Mee and Terry Neal's cohorts. The years following Arsenal's 1953 league title saw a prolonged period of mediocrity. Billy Wright, a former England captain, managed the team from 1962 to 1966 but failed to revive the club's fortunes. Arsenal then made a surprising decision by appointing physiotherapist Bertie Mee as manager in 1966. With Don Howe as his assistant and key players like George Graham and Bob McNabb, Arsenal reached the League Cup finals in 1968 and 1969. However, the club's major breakthrough came in 1970 when they won the Inter-Cities Fairs Cup, their first European trophy. The following year, Arsenal secured their first-ever league and FA Cup double in 1970-71. After this high, the team struggled to maintain success, with near misses in the FA Cup and league. In 1976, Terry Neal, at 34, became Arsenal's youngest-ever manager. Neal led Arsenal to 3 FA Cup finals between 1978 and 1980, winning the 1979 FA Cup in dramatic fashion, defeating Manchester United 3-2 in a classic final. Despite this, Arsenal's European Cup Winners' Cup campaign in 1980 ended in heartbreak after a penalty shootout loss to Valencia. 1984-1996, George Graham's Arsenal. Arsenal saw a turnaround in fortunes when George Graham, a former player from the double-winning side, became manager in 1986. His defensive focus quickly earned Arsenal success, winning the 1987 League Cup in his first season. Graham's tactical discipline, exemplified by the famous back four of Nigel Winterburn, Lee Dixon, Steve Bold, and captain Tony Adams, laid the foundation for future triumphs. In 1988-89, Arsenal won one of the most iconic league titles in English football history, defeating Liverpool 2-0 at Anfield in the last game of the season with a last-minute goal. Arsenal added another title in 1990-91, losing only one match that season. Graham's Arsenal won the FA Cup and League Cup double in 1993, followed by the European Cup Winners' Cup in 1994. However, Graham's tenure ended controversially when he was sacked in 1995 after a scandal involving illegal payments from an agent. His successor, Bruce Rioch, lasted just one season, leaving after disagreements with the board. 1996-2018, the Wenger years. Arsene Wenger, appointed in 1996, transformed Arsenal into one of the most celebrated teams in Europe. His revolutionary focus on fitness, diet, and an attacking style of football, combined with his ability to scout top talent like Thierry Henry and Patrick Vieira, redefined Arsenal. In his second season, Wenger led Arsenal to a league and FA Cup double in 1997-98, a feat repeated in 2001-02. Wenger's most extraordinary achievement came in the 2003-04 season, when Arsenal won the Premier League without losing a single match, earning the team the nickname the Invincibles. This unbeaten run extended to 49 games, a national record. Under Wenger, Arsenal regularly finished in the top 2 in the Premier League and reached the 2006 UEFA Champions League final, though they lost to Barcelona. In 2006, Arsenal moved from Highbury to the Emirates Stadium, marking a new era for the club. Despite financial constraints due to the stadium move, Arsenal continued to be competitive but did not win another major trophy until the 2014 FA Cup, led by record-signing Mesut Ozil. Wenger's team won 2 more FA Cups in 2015 and 2017, making Arsenal the most successful club in FA Cup history. However, Arsenal's league form began to decline, finishing outside the top 4 in 2017 for the first time since Wenger's arrival. Wenger stepped down in 2018 after 22 years at the helm, leaving behind a legacy of innovation, style, and success. 2018-2020, post-Wenger revolution. Following Arsene Wenger's departure in 2018, Arsenal underwent a significant transformation, both in terms of its management structure and team dynamics. Unai Emery was appointed as the club's new head coach on May 23, 2018, becoming the first coach under Arsenal's revised operating model and only the second non-British manager in the club's history. In Emery's first season, Arsenal narrowly missed out on Champions League qualification, finishing 5th in the Premier League. They reached the Europa League final but suffered a heavy 4-1 defeat to Chelsea. Emery struggled to find consistent form, and after a string of poor performances, he was dismissed on November 29, 2019. Freddie Ljungberg, a former Arsenal player and first-team coach, was appointed interim head coach while the club searched for a permanent successor. 2020 present. The Arteta era. On December 20, 2019, Mikel Arteta, a former club captain, was named as the new head coach. Arteta brought with him fresh ideas and a focus on building a young, dynamic squad. Although Arsenal finished the 2019-20 season in 8th place, their lowest league position since 1994-95, Arteta achieved a significant milestone by leading the team to a 14th FA Cup victory, defeating Chelsea 2-1 in the final. This win cemented Arsenal's status as the most successful club in FA Cup history. After the season, Arteta's role was upgraded from head coach to manager, giving him more influence over the club's direction. In 2021, Arsenal was embroiled in controversy as one of the founding members of the European Super League, a breakaway competition. The plan was met with widespread outrage, and the club withdrew just 2 days after the announcement. Despite the tumult, Arsenal finished the 2020-21 season in 8th place again, marking the first time in 26 years that the club did not qualify for European competition. The 2021-22 season saw Arteta begin to assemble a youthful squad, with Arsenal fielding the youngest team in the Premier League, averaging 24 years and 308 days. This young team showed significant promise, finishing 5th and securing a spot in the UEFA Europa League for the following season. In 2022-23, Arsenal made a strong return to form, finishing 2nd in the Premier League behind Manchester City. Despite leading the table for a record 248 days, they ultimately fell short of winning the title, but secured their return to the UEFA Champions League. They amassed 84 points, their best total in years, setting the stage for further progress. The 2023-24 season started on a high note with Arsenal defeating Manchester City to claim their 17th FA Community Shield. They finished 2nd again in the Premier League, improving their points total to 89, marking their continued resurgence as one of England's top teams. Arteta's focus on youth development, tactical discipline, and a blend of attacking football has reshaped the club's identity as they aim for future success. Crest. Arsenal's crest has undergone numerous changes since its first appearance in 1888, reflecting the club's evolution while retaining elements of tradition. Initially, the club's emblem featured 3 cannons viewed from above, echoing the coat of arms of Woolwich, Arsenal's original location. These cannons, sometimes mistaken for chimneys, included a lion's head and a cascabel, clearly identifying them as artillery. This crest was dropped after Arsenal moved to Highbury in 1913, but returned in 1922 as a single eastward-pointing cannon with the club's nickname, the Gooners. By 1925, the cannon was reversed to point westward, and its design was simplified. In 1949, Arsenal introduced a modernized crest featuring a cannon beneath the club's name in black-letter typography. With the Latin motto Victoria Concordia Crescit, victory comes from harmony, added on a scroll. The design included the coat of arms of the Metropolitan Borough of Islington and was rendered in color for the first time, though these colors varied over time. By 2002, Arsenal replaced this design with a more streamlined, modern crest. This version featured curved lines and a simplified cannon facing east again, while the club's name was written in a sans serif typeface. The crest's new colors were red and dark blue, eliminating the green from earlier versions. The change was controversial, with some supporters feeling that the club had not properly consulted them, and that it disregarded aspects of Arsenal's history and tradition. In celebration of Arsenal's 125th anniversary in the 2011-12 season, a special version of the crest was created. It featured an all-white design surrounded by oak and laurel leaves, symbolizing the club's founders and their contributions. The years 1886 and 2011 were displayed, along with the word forward, the club's historic motto. Recently, Arsenal has returned to an older version of its identity, with Adidas reintroducing the cannon-only crest on the away kits for the 2021-22 season. The design continued to appear on the away and third kits in subsequent seasons and became a permanent feature on all kits for the 2024-25 season, marking a nostalgic shift away from the modern crest used since 2002. Colors. Arsenal's home kit has traditionally been bright red shirts with white sleeves and white shorts, a design introduced in 1933 by Herbert Chapman. This distinct look, featuring the bold red with white sleeves, has become synonymous with the club, aside from a few exceptions. Before Chapman's influence, the club wore red shirts as a tribute to Nottingham Forest, who donated the kit after Arsenal's founding members, Fred Beardsley and Maurice Bates, wrote to their former club for help. Arsenal originally wore dark red currant shirts, white shorts, and socks with blue and white hoops. Chapman's update to the kit brought a brighter red and the iconic white sleeves, inspired by either a fan wearing a red sleeveless sweater or a golf partner, cartoonist Tom Webster. This red and white combination has largely persisted, except for the all-red kit in 1966-67, which was unpopular, and a commemorative red currant shirt in 2005-06 to honor their final season at Highbury. Arsenal returned to their classic colors the following season. Arsenal's kit has also influenced other football clubs. Sparta Prague adopted a dark red kit in 1909 after Arsenal's design. Similarly, Hibernian adopted Arsenal's shirt sleeve design in 1938, and Sporting Clube de Braga adopted Arsenal's red and white kit in 1920, earning the nickname Os Arsenalistas. Colombian team Santa Fe was also inspired by Arsenal's colors, as its founder was an Arsenal fan. For many years, Arsenal's away kits were white or navy blue. However, when navy shirts were banned in 1968, Arsenal introduced a yellow shirt with blue shorts as their away kit. This yellow and blue combination gained prominence when Arsenal won the 1971 FA Cup final in it, securing their first double. The iconic yellow and blue away kit remained a fan favorite, worn in many key matches, until a green and navy away kit appeared briefly in 1982-83. Arsenal returned to yellow and blue the next season, albeit with darker shades of blue. In the modern era, Arsenal's kit designs have been more frequently updated, especially with the advent of commercial replica kits. Since Nike became the kit manufacturer in 1994, away colors have shifted between traditional yellow and blue and all-blue designs. Notable variations include a metallic gold and navy kit in 2001-02 and a yellow and dark gray kit from 2005 to 2007. Puma, who took over kit production in 2014, released new home, away, and third kits each season, featuring unique designs such as the black and red third kit of 2017-18. Adidas became Arsenal's kit provider in the 2019-20 season. In the 2020-21 season, Adidas marked the 15th anniversary of Arsenal's move from Highbury with a special white away kit featuring a marbled pattern, symbolizing the iconic Marble Hall in Highbury's East Stand. Stadiums. Before joining the Football League, Arsenal played briefly on Plumstead Common and then moved to the Manor Ground in Plumstead, later spending 3 years at the nearby Invicta Ground from 1890 to 1893. Upon joining the Football League in 1893, Arsenal returned to the Manor Ground, where they upgraded the facilities by adding stands and terracing. Arsenal continued playing there for 2 decades, with 2 exceptions in the 1894-95 season, before relocating to North London in 1913. Arsenal's new home, Highbury Stadium, commonly known as Highbury, became the club's home from September 1913 until May 2006. Initially designed by football architect Archibald Leach, the stadium had a single covered stand and 3 open-air terracing sections. A major transformation in the 1930s saw the construction of the Art Deco West and East Stands, opened in 1932 and 1936 respectively. A roof was added to the North Bank Terrace, though it was bombed during World War II and only restored in 1954. Highbury's peak capacity exceeded 60,000 spectators, but by the early 1990s, this had been reduced to 57,000. Following the Taylor Report, which mandated all-seater stadiums, Arsenal reduced Highbury's capacity to 38,419 for the 1993-94 season. Due to the stadium's restrictions, Notably the Grade 2 listing of the East Stand and its proximity to residential areas, Arsenal faced difficulties in expanding the stadium during the football boom of the 1990s and 2000s. For 2 seasons, from 1998 to 2000, Arsenal played their Champions League home matches at Wembley Stadium, which had a capacity of over 70,000. In 2000, Arsenal proposed building a new 60,361 capacity stadium at Ashburton Grove, now known as Emirates Stadium, located about 500 meters southwest of Highbury. Delayed by bureaucracy and rising costs, construction was completed in July 2006, just in time for the 2006-07 season. The Emirates Stadium was named after its sponsor, Emirates Airlines, in a £100 million deal, the largest in English football at the time. The deal includes naming rights until at least 2028, while the airline remains the club's shirt sponsor until at least 2024. Some fans prefer to call the stadium Ashburton Grove due to their opposition to corporate sponsorship. Since 2010, the stadium stands have been named North Bank, East Stand, West Stand, and Clock End. The current capacity of Emirates Stadium is 60,704. Arsenal's players now train at the Shenley Training Centre in Hertfordshire, which opened in 1999. Prior to this, they used facilities owned by University College London Students' Union, and before 1961, they trained at Highbury. Arsenal's academy under 18 teams play home matches at Shenley, while the reserves play at Meadow Park, home of Boreham Wood FC. Both teams occasionally play high-profile games at Emirates Stadium with only the lower west stand open to fans, supporters, and rivalries. Arsenal's fanbase, known as the Gooners, derives its name from the club's nickname, the Gunners. Arsenal has a highly devoted following, with nearly all home matches at the Emirates Stadium selling out. In the 2007-08 season, Arsenal had the second highest average league attendance for an English club, filling 99.5% of the stadium's capacity, 60,070. And as of 2015, they boasted the third highest all-time average attendance in English football. Arsenal also ranks 7th in terms of average attendance among European clubs, trailing only Borussia Dortmund, Barcelona, Manchester United, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, and Schalke 04. Arsenal's location in North London, adjacent to areas like Canonbury, Islington, and Holloway, as well as working-class regions like Finsbury Park and Stoke Newington, means their fan base is diverse in terms of social class. The club also draws considerable support from the Afro-Caribbean community, particularly from the nearby borough of Hackney, and has a large following from the South Asian community, many of whom travel from Wembley Park. Historically, Arsenal had a large Irish following, as many Irish immigrants settled in the nearby Archway area. While the Irish presence has dwindled compared to the 1960s and 1970s, the club still enjoys significant support from this community. Arsenal supporters include several organized groups, such as the Arsenal Football Supporters Club, which works closely with the club, and the Arsenal Independent Supporters Association, AISA, which maintains a more independent stance. The Arsenal Supporters Trust advocates for greater fan ownership and participation in the club. Arsenal fans also produce fanzines like The Gooner, Gunflash, and the satirical Up the Arse. Although Arsenal originated in London, the club's fanbase has expanded internationally, especially with the rise of satellite television. As of 2007, Arsenal had 24 UK, 37 Irish, and 49 other international supporters clubs. A 2011 report by Sport Plus Markt estimated the club's global fanbase at 113 million, while the club's social media presence ranked 5th among world football clubs during the 2014-15 season. Anthem and songs. Arsenal's official anthem is The Angel, North London Forever, by Lewis Dunford, typically played before home matches. Supporters also chant songs like 1-0 to the Arsenal, to the tune of Go West, and regularly sing Who's That Team They Call the Arsenal, Good Old Arsenal, to the tune of Rule, Britannia, and We're the North Bank/Clock End Highbury. A notable self-deprecating chant is Boring, Boring Arsenal, referring to the club's cautious style of play in the 1970s and 1980s. Rivalries. Arsenal's fiercest rivalry is with their nearest neighbors, Tottenham Hotspur, and matches between the two are known as the North London Derby. Arsenal also has a strong rivalry with Chelsea, and in the late 1980s, they developed an intense on-pitch rivalry with Manchester United, particularly in the early 2000s, when the two clubs frequently vied for the Premier League title. Mascot. Arsenal's club mascot, Gunnersaurus Rex, is a beloved figure among fans. This smiling, 7-foot-tall green dinosaur made his debut at a home match against Manchester City in August 1993, or possibly 1994. Gunnersaurus was inspired by a drawing from Peter Lovell, who was only 11 years old at the time. His design won a Junior Gunners contest, and the official backstory states that he hatched from an egg found during renovations at Highbury. Jerry Quay has been the man behind the Gunnersaurus suit since its inception. However, in early October 2020, due to cost-cutting measures related to the COVID-19 pandemic, Arsenal made him redundant, along with 55 other full-time employees, including his part-time role in supporter liaison. Despite the setback, an online fundraiser was launched to support Quay, and former player Mesut Ozil even offered to pay his salary as long as he remained associated with the club. In November 2020, with COVID-19 regulations easing to allow fans back into stadiums, Arsenal announced that Gunnersaurus would make a return. The mascot would be performed by a roster of individuals, which could include Quay if he chose to participate. Gunnersaurus remains an iconic and cherished part of Arsenal's identity, embodying the spirit and passion of the club's supporters. Ownership and finances. Stan Kroenke is the largest shareholder on Arsenal's board, having initially launched a bid for the club in April 2007. His bid faced competition from Red and White Securities, co-owned by Russian billionaire Alisher Usmanov and Iranian financier Farhad Moshiri. Usmanov acquired Moshiri's stake in 2016. Kroenke came close to the 30% takeover threshold in November 2009, increasing his holding to 29.9%. He achieved a full takeover in April 2011 by purchasing shares from Nina Bracewell-Smith and Danny Fisman, raising his shareholding to 62.89%. By May 2017, Kroenke held 67.05% of the shares, while Red and White Securities owned 30.04%. In January 2018, he bought 22 more shares, increasing his ownership to 67.09%. In August 2018, Kroenke bought out Usmanov for £550 million, gaining control of over 90% of the shares. This gave him the required stake to buy out the remaining shares and become the club's sole owner. His ownership has faced criticism due to Arsenal's performance during his tenure. Arsenal's parent company, Arsenal Holdings plc, operates as an unlisted public limited company, differing from the ownership structure of many football clubs. Only 62,219 shares have been issued, traded infrequently on the ICAP Securities and Derivatives Exchange. On May 29, 2017, a single share was valued at £18,000, giving the club a market capitalization of approximately £1.12 billion. Consultants Brand Finance valued Arsenal's brand and intangible assets at $703 million in 2015, ranking it as an AAA global brand. Forbes valued the club at $2.238 billion, £1.69 billion, in 2018, making it the third most valuable club in English football. Research from the Henley Business School ranked Arsenal second, estimating its value at £1.118 billion in 2015. For the 2019-20 season, Arsenal reported an after-tax loss of £47.8 million, partly due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the Deloitte Football Money League, Arsenal's football revenue in 2019 was £392.7 million, €445.6 million, ranking them 11th among world football clubs. Matchday revenue generated by the Emirates Stadium in 2019 was listed as €109.2 million, £96.2 million. In popular culture, Arsenal's notable media presence has roots in their proximity to the Alexandra Palace transmitter. They made history on January 22, 1927, when their match against Sheffield United at Highbury became the first English League match to be broadcast live on radio. A decade later, On September 16, 1937, they played in the world's first live televised football match, an exhibition game between the first team and reserves. Additionally, Arsenal featured in the inaugural episode of the BBC's Match of the Day, which showcased highlights of their match against Liverpool at Anfield on August 22, 1964. Furthermore, their January 2010 match against Manchester United was the first sports event publicly broadcast in 3D. As one of the most successful teams in the country, Arsenal has often been portrayed in British art and literature. The club was the backdrop for one of the earliest football-related novels, The Arsenal Stadium Mystery, 1939, which was adapted into a film in the same year. The plot revolves around a friendly match where a player is poisoned. Many Arsenal players appeared as themselves in the film, and manager George Allison had a speaking role. Nick Hornby's book Fever Pitch, published in 1992, recounts his life and relationship with football, particularly Arsenal. The book contributed to the rehabilitation of football's image in British society during the 1990s and was adapted into 2 films. A 1997 British version focusing on Arsenal's 1988-89 title win, and a 2005 American adaptation featuring a Boston Red Sox fan. Arsenal has been stereotyped as a defensive and boring team, especially during the 1970s and 1980s. In the film The Full Monty, 1997, the main characters mimicked Arsenal's offside trap while coordinating a striptease routine. This reference was echoed in the 2012 Disney film John Carter, which included similar visual cues and subtle nods to the club. Additionally, the film Plunkett and Maclean features characters named Dixon and Winterburn, after Arsenal's long-serving fullbacks, Lee Dixon and Nigel Winterburn. In August 2022, Amazon Prime Video released an 8-episode docuseries titled All or Nothing, Arsenal, which documented the club's 2021-22 season. This season saw Arsenal field the youngest team in the Premier League, with an average starting age of 24 years and 308 days, over a year younger than the next team. In the community. In 1985, Arsenal established the Arsenal in the Community scheme, which provides sporting, social inclusion, educational, and charitable initiatives. In 1992, they set up the Arsenal Charitable Trust, which by 2006 had raised over £2 million for local causes. An ex-professional and celebrity football team associated with Arsenal has also participated in charity matches to raise funds. The club launched the Arsenal for Everyone initiative in 2008 to celebrate the diversity within the Arsenal family. During the 2009-10 season, they achieved a record-breaking fundraising total of £818,897 for the Great Ormond Street Hospital Children's Charity, surpassing their initial target of £500,000. In 2022, Arsenal partnered with Adidas to introduce the No More Red campaign, aimed at addressing knife crime and youth violence. To promote the initiative, they launched a special all-white kit, which was not available for commercial sale and was awarded to individuals making a positive impact in the community. Since 2011, Save the Children has been Arsenal's global charity partner, working together on various projects to enhance the safety and well-being of vulnerable children both in London and internationally. On September 3, 2016, the Arsenal Foundation donated £1 million to construct football pitches for children in several countries, including London, Indonesia, Iraq, Jordan, and Somalia, made possible by proceeds from the Arsenal Foundation Legends match against Milan Glory at the Emirates Stadium. On June 3, 2018, Arsenal faced Real Madrid in the Corazon Classic match 2018 at the Bernabeu, with proceeds directed toward Real Madrid Foundation projects benefiting vulnerable children. A return match took place on September 8, 2018 at the Emirates Stadium, with proceeds again supporting the Arsenal Foundation. In 2007, Arsenal partnered with the JMG Academy and the Hong On Gia Lai Corporation to establish a youth academy for the V-League One club Hong On Lai Lai in Vietnam, allowing local players to train with Arsenal. The partnership ended in 2017. Arsenal has also formed partnerships with clubs worldwide, including the Richmond Strikers in Virginia and Wadi Degla in Cairo. Statistics and records. League Championships and FA Cups. League Championships. Arsenal has won a total of 13 league championships, ranking third in English football behind Manchester United, 20, and Liverpool, 19. They were the first club to reach both a 7th and an 8th league championship. FA Cup titles. The club holds the record for the most FA Cup trophies, with 14 victories. Arsenal is one of only 6 clubs to have won the FA Cup twice in succession, achieving this in 2002 and 2003, as well as in 2014 and 2015. Doubles. They have completed 3 league and FA Cup doubles in 1971, 1998, and 2002, a feat previously matched only by Manchester United. Premier League and Champions League. Arsenal is one of 7 clubs, including Manchester United, Blackburn Rovers, Chelsea, Manchester City, Leicester City, and Liverpool, that have won the Premier League since its inception in 1992. They were the first London club to reach the final of the UEFA Champions League in 2006, although they lost 2-1 to Barcelona. Historical records. Arsenal has an impressive record in the top flight, finishing below 14th only 7 times and having the second most league victories and points in English football history. They hold the record for the longest unbeaten run in league matches at 49, from May 2003 to October 2004, including all 38 matches of their title-winning 2003-04 season, making them only the second club to finish a top-flight season unbeaten. The club also holds the record for the longest win streak in top-flight history. Player records. David O'Leary is the record holder for the most appearances for Arsenal, having played 722 matches from 1975 to 1993. Thierry Henry is the club's all-time top scorer with 228 goals across all competitions, surpassing Ian Wright's previous record of 185. Henry also holds the record for the most league goals with 175. Declan Rice became Arsenal's record signing in July 2023, with a transfer fee of £100 million, surpassing the previous record of £72 million for Nicolas Pepe. Attendance records. Arsenal's highest recorded home attendance is 73,707 for a UEFA Champions League match against Lens on November 25, 1998 at Wembley. The highest attendance at Highbury was 73,295 for a 0-0 draw against Sunderland on March 9, 1935, while the Emirates Stadium's record is 60,161 for a 2-2 draw with Manchester United on November 3, 2007. Honors and achievements. Early silverware. 1890. Arsenal, known as Royal Arsenal at the time, secured their first silverware by winning the Kent Junior Cup with their reserves. Kent Senior Cup. Just 3 weeks later, the first team clinched the Kent Senior Cup, marking their first senior trophy. National and major honors. First national honor. Arsenal's first national senior honor was the FA Cup, won in 1930. Success in the 1930s. The club continued to excel, capturing another FA Cup and 5 Football League First Division titles during this decade. League and Cup doubles. Arsenal achieved their first league and cup double in the 1970-71 season and replicated this success in 1997-98 and 2001-02. They also secured a cup double by winning the FA Cup and League Cup in 1992-93. Unbeaten season. 2003-04. This season was remarkable as Arsenal became the only team in English football history to finish a 38-match league season unbeaten. Following this achievement, the club was awarded a special gold version of the Premier League trophy. Other competitions and historical context. County Cups. In the early years when the FA Cup was the only national competition available, Arsenal participated in various county cups, including their inaugural Kent Senior Cup. Professional transition. Upon turning professional in 1891, Arsenal became ineligible for London Cups and rarely competed in county cups thereafter. Due to its location, the club participated in trophies organized by both the London and Kent football associations. Pre-season and friendly honors. Arsenal has also engaged in various pre-season and friendly competitions, notably the Emirates Cup, which began in 2007. Wartime competitions. During both World Wars, regular competitions were suspended, prompting Arsenal to participate in wartime competitions, in which they achieved considerable success. That wraps up our journey through the illustrious history of Arsenal Football Club. From their early days as Royal Arsenal to becoming one of the most successful teams in English football, the Gunners have left an indelible mark on the sport. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Arsenal's achievements, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Sports Spectrum for more exciting content about your favorite teams and athletes. And don't forget to leave a comment below sharing your favorite Arsenal moment or player. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.